Hi, this is Jessie. Today I'm going to show you how to design a MegaMenu with Sign Builder. We're going to make this menu here with this animation effect on hover. On the laptop version, we will have this burger icon, with the menus showing in an overlay pop-up. If you select the tablet or mobile view, the menu will remain centered. The menu might look simple, but you will see when we go into details that it has a more complex structure and that it is a MegaMenu. Now let me delete the menu and get back to you to recreate this from scratch. Okay, so I've deleted the menu. Now let's get started. I've made this page from the library blocks just to have some content. To create a header, we need to go to the theme builder first for us to add it to this page. We can do this from here by selecting the Sign Builder dashboard. Then select the theme builder and add a new component in the default template. Now edit the header component and you will be redirected to the Sign Builder editor where you can start working on your header. I'll start by adding a predefined section with a column inside. Then edit the section with double-click and change the background color from the Styling tab. If you click the yellow column and press the Ctrl+C key, then Ctrl+P key on your keyboard, then your column will be duplicated. Double-click the first column again to edit it. Choose your column width size and do the same for the second column. Now to explain what I just did. By default, the column had auto size, which means that if I would add an element inside the column would stretch and take the shape of the element inside. But I want to do this the other way around, the element to stretch to the full length of the column. That's why I've adjusted the width of the columns for them to be fixed and not fluid. To set a height for our header, we need to edit the section, go to the Styling tab, and under Size and Spacing, we can set the height that we want. Click the yellow plus icon from the first column and let's add an image. This image will represent our logo. Now click the image thumbnail to browse for your image. I will use the Sign Builder logo. Then go to Styling and adjust the image size. Nice. We can add a link for this logo from here. To center our logo vertically in our header, we'll have to edit the column and set the inner content vertical alignment to center. Okay, now that we have our logo, let's see how it looks on our initial page. Save and publish this component, close it, and save the theme builder options. Let's refresh our page and see what happened. Well, nothing happened. That is because the page layout is set as blank canvas. The blank canvas layout removes both the header and footer from the page, and when the theme builder tries to replace the header with the new header, it has nothing to replace. So we need to select the full width layout because this layout has the header and footer included. Look at that, the header is there. Great. Now let's save the page and go to the theme builder to continue building our header. In this right column, I want to add the menu element and one call to action button. Before adding these elements to the page, let me set up the column first to show them centered vertically and aligned at the right. Let's add the menu element and the button element. You may be wondering why the elements are not aligned to the right. That's because all the elements are fluid and take the size of the container they are in, and since I chose the elements to be displayed horizontally, then they take up equal space in the column. We can change this behavior if we set the width of the element to auto. Much better. Let's edit the menu element. Here, we should select the menu that we want to load, but there are no menus created yet, so we have to go to the WordPress dashboard under Appearance, Menus to create it. Let's add a name for our menu, then press the Create Menu button. As soon as the left sidebar highlights, we can add pages to the menu. Right now, we can add just one to the menu because this is the only page created. If we want to add more, we can go to Pages and create them from there, but for the sake of this tutorial, we will create custom links from here. Notice that I add a hashtag instead of a link. That hashtag acts as a dummy link. Nothing will happen when I press it. Now if we save the menu and go to our header again, we should see the menu updated with the new pages. Easy peasy. Let's see how this header looks on homepage. Nice. Always check your progress on the other devices. Now you see here, we have an issue because these two elements don't have any spacing. But I will fix it later by removing the call to action button for smaller screens. It will make our design look more cleaner, and there is no reason to keep it on mobile because we have the big Get Started Now button. I want people to focus on that button instead. Here, you will see that the logo and the menu are not on the same line. Remember that we made our header from two columns. In a column, we've added the logo, and in the other column, the menu and the button element. On mobile, each column will go one under the other by default, unless we specify otherwise. Now let's go to the header builder to hide the button for smaller screens. Right-click the button element and edit, or double-click the button to bring the button options sidebar. Go to Styling tab Wrapper and under the Display, select Display None to hide the element. But we don't want to do this under Desktop View, so let's apply it on the laptop screen size. Nice. To adjust this, I will select the first column and set the column width to 1/6 of the content, then do the same for the second column. This way, both the logo and the burger icon will show on the same line. Let's see what else we could do here. Okay, so this burger icon has some issues. It's a bit small. Pressing it would be a problem because the pressing area is too small and the UI gets in the way. An obvious thing to do would be to make it bigger or increase the element paddings. Go to the Styling tab, Mobile Menu Trigger, under Size and Spacing, and add some padding for the burger icon. Now let's see what happens when we press it. It shows the drop-down, but something is off. It seems like the wrapper that contains the mobile menu has no size. We can set it to full width from the General tab under the Mobile Menu section. Perfect. Now I want to display it on full screen, so how do I do that? It's simple. Go to Mobile Menu Wrapper and select your desired height. I will change the background color for you to see this better. We can set the wrapper to be 100 VH. VH comes from viewport height, and 100 represents the percentage of the height, meaning 100% of the viewport height. We could improve this even more and calculate the viewport height minus the height of the header. This will make our wrapper to fit exactly on the screen. That bottom space is there because the wrapper overlaps the header. I will adjust it by changing the top margin. Great. Now let's change the background color to something cleaner and center the menu vertically and style it a bit. It looks just about right. Save and publish the header component, and let's see how the menu looks. Great. Now let's see. What else? Let's change the default fonts. We can do this from each Element Styling tab under the Typography. Here you can select the font family, font size, font weight, and other styles related to your font. Let's style the button as well. Here you will want to style the button styles and not the wrapper, because if we style the wrapper, it will affect the icon styles within the button. This is not the case for this button because we don't have an icon, but I was just saying it is good to know. I want to make this button transparent with a 2-pixel borderline. For the hover, I will use a dark blue background color. What I always like to do when making hovers is to set a small transition effect between the default state and the hover state. I notice that some people don't bother to make this step, or they don't do hovers at all. But I am telling you that all those small details add up, and they are the difference between a great-looking website and an average website. Notice here that the pointer cursor doesn't show up on hover because we don't have a link on our button, so let's add it. Perfect. Now that we've finished this simple menu, let's try and add a MegaMenu here on the company button. So when I hover over this button, a drop-down will show up with some content made with the MegaMenu. You will be able to make any kind of drop-down content this way. In your WordPress dashboard, go to Appearance, Menus, and press the MegaMenu Options button under the company page. This will bring the MegaMenu options. Here you can enable the MegaMenu content that will let you build the content with the page builder. Then you have the General tab. The Display tab where you can select different width settings for how to display the Mega Menu. In the Icon tab, you can add an icon before or after the company page. And finally, the Badge tab adds a badge next to the menu. This can really come in handy when you want an extra text relative to your menu button. Now let's enable the Mega Menu and edit it. I'll start by adding a column. Double-click the column to edit the column options. I will add a background color and a height for the column just for testing purposes. I just want to see how the drop-down looks at this stage. Okay, so my Mega Menu content is loading, but the width is not the one I want, so we need to change it. Go back to the Mega Menu options, under the Display tab, and let's play a bit with the width settings to understand how they work. I will select the full width option. The full width option makes my drop-down the same size as the width of the screen. That's why it exits the screen. In order to see the full width drop-down, I must center it. Much better. But it is not what I want. I will go with a custom width of 400 pixels. Great. Let's go back and continue editing our Mega Menu. Although here the red area is full width, it is fluid and will always resize to the 400 pixels size that we have set earlier. So don't worry about this. Just to make it easier for me when designing, I will reduce the width of the column and increase it again when I finish. What you do from now on is only up to you. You can add any element in the Mega Menu and make any crazy design you can think of. Let's add a shadow. Add another column inside our first column, then copy-paste it 3 times. Same as before, add a column, copy-paste. But this time, I want these 2 columns side by side. So I will edit them and set a different width for each one. Then set the content to horizontal in the parent column. In this first column, I want to add an icon, and in the right one, a headline and a description. The second row will be the same, and the third row column will have some links. Let's adjust this icon. Since the icons are fonts, the size of an icon and the color can be adjusted from the typography styles. Let's center the icon in the column. Now let's duplicate and move it in the second row. Then center it again. Change the colors and the icon. Add the text now. You can even hold Control while dragging to duplicate, but right-clicking seems easier for me. I'm aware that you might think that you need to have a surgeon's precision to do this, but once you know what you want to achieve, this is easy. Now I will make the hover effect. I want to scale the whole row just a bit, then make a smooth transition. Do you notice how the second row is beneath the third row? I will need to bring that in front by setting a bigger Z index. much better. Okay, now let's do the same thing for the first row. Select the hover state on your parent column, then scale it and set a transition. I just noticed that the bottom corners, on hover, are square instead of rounded. Let's fix that. Let's bring the tree view menu. I just remembered that we didn't use it at all. If you hold Control while dragging the margins, they will be in sync and changed both at the same time. Now let's remove the column width we have set at the beginning for us to make a preview and see how our dropdown looks. I already see some things that I personally don't like and need some adjustments. I want the dropdown to start beneath the header, not beneath the button like it is now. For that, I need to make the button height the same size as the header. Okay, this looks better. The second issue is that the first row doesn't have any shadow on hover. So I will need to go to the second row's hover and copy the shadow color, then paste it in the first row. But first, I want to keep all shadows the same, so I will use this shadow color as a reference. Okay, what else? Let's make the drop-down height smaller. Now the third row height is not right, it is too big. Let's add a link to the entire column where we make the hover. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial on how to create a mega menu from scratch. Don't forget to hit the like button if you want to see more videos like this one and subscribe to our YouTube channel. See you in the next video.